Ugh. I didn't even drink that much. Wait a minute. It's not Wednesday morning. Ah! Ah! Alright, time to get rid of these things. What the hell?
Take me away to this magical world. I feel like I'm trapped, I can't take it no more. Lend me your strength, my wounds need to be healed. Imagine what me and you can reveal. Please don't let me fill the world. The darkness has already whirled, but I'm running out of space. Get this chaos out my face. I'll take back the sky. Let's bring back the light and ride with me into the night. I'll take back the sky. Let's bring back the light and ride with me into the night.
What's going on, guys? This is Mikeinoid, and today Skylanders, and a little bit of more Skylanders, followed by Skylanders, and then Skylanders. Oh, did I mention Skylanders? Skylanders has been the talk of the town recently on the channel. The series is reaching its 10-year anniversary, and a lot of people like myself have been getting nostalgic for it. For anyone who doesn't know what Skylanders are, it was the first Toys to Life video game franchise that found major success in sales. It wasn't the first Toys to Life game. Hell, it wasn't even the first time toys were used with video games. One of the first, if not the first toy that was compatible with video games was Rob the Robot, that was used for Gyromite and Stack Up for the NES in 1985. The very first Toys to Life game was UB Funkies. This 2007 computer game created by Mattel used a hub that connected to the PC and small figures that worked as playable characters in the game. The series discontinued in 2010, but the series was popular enough to get their own Wendy's Kids Meal toys. Oh yeah, and then there was FAMPs. Feelings, attitudes, moods, and personalities used figures and a hub as well. Each figure unlocked their own games. However, FAMPs was more of an application that allowed you to customize your desktop and emails. After those games came to an end, Skylanders was born. I remember seeing the commercial for it back when I was in 6th grade. It's the Purple Dragon! I knew of Spyro, but I never played a Spyro game before, but seeing him and a bunch of fun looking characters as toys that worked in a video game blew my mind. I actually ended up getting the Xbox 360 starter pack for Christmas of 2011, alongside the triple pack that consisted of Hex, Dino Rank, and Zap. Honestly, these were great characters to start playing the game with. You have 5 elements to get through the elemental gates with, and 6 characters with different playstyles. I actually beat the game with these 6 figures, and I will admit that I had fun. The game felt short. That's most likely due to the fact that I was missing the other 3 elements, so I couldn't explore all the levels, and those 6 Skylanders were fully maxed out to level 10 with their upgrades. There was not much else to do. So I was pretty much done with Spyro's adventure after the first 2 weeks of getting the game, and I didn't get another Skylander figure for the next 6 months. I was an 11-year-old bum with no job. A couple of pennies from the couch cushions didn't cover the cost of a single Skylanders figure. But what got me fully into collecting the entire Spyro's Adventure roster was getting the 3DS starter pack. Not only did I receive 2 Skylanders of elements I didn't have, but I got another way of playing Skylanders. The game isn't necessarily perfect or even superior to the console versions, but what made the 3DS version great was the fact that you can hold 2 different Skylanders at a time and switch between them just by tapping the bottom screen. I really liked this game, however it was hard to replay because you always had to play the levels with the hector time limit. I'm just trying to explore the level, why does this guy keep chasing me? Having both the console and the 3DS versions of Spyro's Adventure reignited my desire to get all of the Skylanders, so I had to do some hunting. No, not that type of hunting, numbnuts. Skylander hunting was a popular term that refers to going to different retail stores to look for Skylanders. The stores I went to the most were Walmarts. These were the closest stores near home, and I would go with my parents whenever they needed to pick up some stuff. Target and Best Buy were my secondary stores if Walmart didn't have anything. And Toys R Us was a luxury. Toys R Us wasn't necessarily far from my home, but they weren't as accessible as the other stores. But the main issue I had with Toys R Us was their prices. I understand that they had more space for Skylanders, but was tagging an extra $1 really worth it? As a kid, every dollar felt important, so Toys R Us was either a last resort or when I needed to get those legendary figures. Eventually, I was able to grow my Spyro's Adventure collection. I got single packs, triple packs, and adventure packs until I needed one more figure to complete the roster. In Whamshell. There were some pretty hard Skylanders to find back in the day. I actually consider myself lucky that I picked up Camo and Warnado at a GameStop, which was the one and only time I've ever seen them on shelves. But seeing Whamshell on a shelf was a myth to most people, including myself. So I did what any other desperate kid did. I paid a scalper fee of $30 on eBay just to finish off the collection. This may not be my proudest moment in Skylander hunting, but it was a great sight to see all 32 Skylanders in one place. Plus, I think this Whamshell set a mindset I would have collecting Skylanders in the future. So yeah, I got the main 32 Skylanders, the 4 legendary Skylanders, and Dark Spyro, and I finished just in time because after finishing off Spyro's Adventure, Giants came out a month later. I picked up the Skylanders Giant Starter Pack for the Xbox 360 on October 7th of 2012 alongside Swarm because one Giant wasn't enough. T-Rex is one of the most common Skylander figures out there, mainly because he was available in both starter packs and Portal Owners packs. If you had a copy of Giants, you had T-Rex. This character was my go-to Giant. I mean, he had melee, speed, range attacks, so he was very versatile. Of course, I still used core Skylanders, especially my old ones, so I would level them up to 15. Originally, I planned on just collecting the 8 Giants and 8 new Skylanders. The Spyro Adventure figures worked fine, so I didn't need to buy the same figure twice. Or so I thought. Listen, I just ended up buying a bunch of triple packs, so I just ended up with all the 24 Series 2 figures. And since I'm just throwing my money around, I might as well get the 8 Light Core figures. And you know what? I really hated money, so I got the Battleground Starter Pack from GameStop. I didn't even own an Apple device, I just spent $40 for the Royal Double Trouble. I eventually got the 3DS Starter Pack, which I'm still salty about since I ended up with an extra T-Rex and Cinder. Giants for the 3DS pretty much felt the same as Spyro's Adventure, although it was more replayable since you didn't have to finish levels within a certain time, but Giants on the consoles was fun. I just felt like it was more of the same with Spyro's Adventure. Skylander hunting during the Giants era went a lot better for me than Spyro's Adventure, despite the larger number of figures to buy. Last game I had a late start, so it was much easier to keep up with each wave. Thankfully, I can sleep like a baby knowing I have Lightcore Pop Fizz, but there was one Lightcore figure I was missing. In fact, it was the only Skylander on the Giants poster I was missing. Lightcore Hex. And it wasn't because I couldn't find her, it was because she wasn't out yet. Lightcore Hex would release the same day as Skylanders Swap Force, the third game of the franchise. She was available as a pre-order bonus for the game, so I left GameStop with Lightcore Hex and the Skylanders Swap Force starter pack for the Xbox 360. And the starter pack for the 3DS. This was the only time I got both starter packs on day one because I had a garage sale and made a good amount of money selling my to make room for new I don't remember what I sold, but I know I did pretty good because the day before I got Pokemon X and Y, and I got Nitro Magnet Charge from Target, and Enchanted Hoot Loop from Walmart. Yeah, it was a pretty busy weekend. Now, I was really excited for Swap Force, not just because the game got a graphical overhaul and the ability to jump, but I really wanted the Swap Force figures. There's something really satisfying from attaching and detaching the figures, and seeing something weird like this was so much fun. Swap Force was such a fantastic Skylanders game in my opinion. There were a lot of changes to this game that many people didn't like, which is understandable. Swap Force was developed by Vicarious Visions rather than Toys for Bob, so there were a lot of changes. The levels are noticeably longer, but I don't think I cared when I played it back in 2013. I mean, I was a kid, I didn't have much to do anyways. All I knew was that the game was beautiful to look at, fun to play, and had a good mix of new and returning Skylanders to collect. The 3DS version is also my favorite Skylander game on the 3DS, mainly because it introduced the feature of keeping your entire library in the game, rather than 2 at a time. Honestly, Swap Force on the 3DS made the franchise 100% portable. Skylander hunting for me went pretty well in the Swap Force era. I made sure I kept up when waves would come out using the Skylanders character list website. This website isn't an official Skylanders website, but it might as well should have been because of how useful it was. I went to this website way more than the official Skylanders website, not because I was keeping up with the Skylander waves, but I just liked looking at the pictures of the Skylanders I still needed. I want you. The last Swap Force figure I needed from the original 56 Skylanders was Doomstone, and he was actually pretty easy to get, but the last Skylanders I needed were Molten Hot Dog and Jade Flashwing from Giants, and the Dark Edition Skylanders and Legendary Free Ranger from Swap Force. I got Molten Hot Dog, Jade Flashwing, and Legendary Free Ranger from eBay. Not as bad as the Wham Shell, but it was the only way I can get these figures since I couldn't get them from stores. And I finally got the Dark Edition starter pack for the Wii from GameStop at a discounted price. Did I even play the game on the Wii? No, not when it looks like that. But I did manage to finish the 3DS library of 174 Skylanders. I was pretty proud of myself for getting all these figures. It was satisfying to know that I can play as every character and their in-game variations across the 3 games. And then Trap Team came out. Trap Team was the time I reached peak excitement for a Skylanders game. There were rumors of Skylanders leading into a racing game or some other gimmicks, but no one predicted little crystals that would capture villains that would allow you to play as them in the game. I was even excited for the 3DS version. The 3DS versions always did pretty good with making the toys compatible, so with the addition of a Kaos trap, I figured we were finally getting Kaos in the game. Don't get me wrong, I like that the 3DS had their own stories and they had their own villains, but the idea of seeing Kaos in the 3DS version was still pretty cool. But then they announced that traps aren't even compatible in the 3DS version. What the hell? 3DS version just made traps oversized toothpicks. I mean, they don't do anything in the game. And the 3DS starter pack didn't even include an exclusive in-game variant. This was the only 3DS starter pack I didn't buy brand new. I just bought the game used from GameStop for like $5 and used one of my old portals. And the game isn't even that good. I mean, it's fine, but definitely not as worth playing as the other 3DS games. I mean, the first trappable villain you fight in the console versions is a sheep. Why would you think I would care about one as a final boss? So I pre-ordered the Trap Team starter pack for the Xbox One at Target, which got me the Outlaw Brawl and Chain Trap, got myself a Nitro Crypt King, and went to GameStop to pick up a Gear Shift that I pre-ordered, which was the only way you can get the figure early before it was released in a later wave. The game was okay. I had fun with trapping and playing villains. In fact, it's one of my favorite gimmicks from the Skylander series. I mean, you just have so many cool characters, man. You got the piece of broccoli, you got a ninja crow in there. I mean, you got a whole pinata with a lollipop, and it's still pretty cool you can play as a Chompy. But there was always something off about Trap Team that I didn't quite catch when I played the game in 2014. But looking back at the game now, it's as clear as night and day, or should I say dark and light. I hated the dark and light elements. Not because both elements had 2 Skylanders each, even though it's part of it. The dark and light elements were Skylanders' worst kept secret. These elements were rumored months before their adventure packs release, and the game was so buggy that you can go inside these gates despite having Eon telling you, you need an unknown element. Don't even get me started with those bugs, man. I don't blame Toys for Bob as much for releasing the game in an unfinished state. I put the blame mainly on Activision for making the decision to release a Skylander game every year. Listen, I had as much fun with the game as I possibly can, yet somehow I ended up with more starter packs than any other Skylander game. I bought the Dark Edition pack for the Wii, which came with a download code of Trap Team for the Wii U, and a PS4 starter pack I got as a gift. I also found a Wii U starter pack from a garage sale, so we can go ahead and put this food fight with the others. So I might have a problem. Trap Team also made Skylander hunting less fun for me. There were just too many Skylander figures to buy. Not only the game having the largest roster of characters, but having to buy traps as well, and 8 $25 figures that came in display cases. It got pretty crazy. To be fair, I did kind of get into a different Toys to Life franchise, Nintendo's Amiibo. Nintendo wasn't the first major competitor for Skylanders. Disney released Disney Infinity back in 2013 and had 3 games in the series. Disney Infinity never really grabbed my attention, despite the sandbox mode and Marvel superheroes. I just wasn't attracted to Disney characters as most were. I'd rather sit down and get to know a random fire chick. I'm so glad you were able to make it out tonight. Traffic must have been crazy getting here from Mystic Mill. So I had a question. If your hair is on fire, does that mean the rest of you are... It was a legit question! But then Nintendo had this great idea to take this original idea from Smash Bros on the GameCube and turn it into a real thing. Well, actually, Nintendo's first attempt were those small Pokemon NFC toys that worked in Pokemon Rumble U, but who even remembers those? I don't know, but they're stupid expensive now. I'm a huge fan of Nintendo and their IP, so I got invested in the Amiibos. Honestly, I don't even consider Amiibo Toys to Life at this point. I mean, they're just like cool figures that you just unlock stuff with, while Toys to Life is more of using the toys and becoming the character in the game. Anyways, I wasn't able to come close to getting all of the Trap Team figures. I mean, some of them were just hard to find, and some didn't even release outside of Australia for some reason. And since the game was a letdown for me, this is when I started to fall out of Skylanders. In 2015, Activision revealed the 5th game of the series, Skylanders Superchargers, which focused on racing. Oh, now the rumors are true. Honestly, I wasn't too excited for this game, and I knew that the starter packs would eventually go on sale. Wait, is that a Bowser Skylander? I pre-ordered the 3DS version of Superchargers from GameStop, which came with this special comic. I'm not gonna lie, I played this game quite a bit. It even got me to get Fiesta and Gilgrunt with their respective vehicles. I even got the Nitro Stealth Stinger to pair up with Stealth Elf. The game focuses on the racing aspect, but I was okay with that. It was a game that's easy to just pick up and play, and when I finished, I just moved on. Just like I predicted, the starter packs went on sale, so I picked up the Wii U starter pack that came with Donkey Kong and his vehicle. I played through the majority of the game, and I even bought some more figures, including Spitfire, Diveclops, and their vehicles used from GameStop. However, I never got to finish the game. I didn't even think the game was bad, I just kind of dropped out. I was in 11th grade at this time, and I kind of grew tired of the series. I knew Imaginators was coming out when Activision revealed it at 2016's E3, but I just never followed it. All of my excitement went into the Nintendo NX to come out, which is what we know as the Switch today. Games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Mario Kart for the second time had my interest the most. Skylanders just became a footnote in my life, just this fad I was into growing up. So eventually, I just boxed all of my Skylanders away and put them in my closet. I'm not gonna lie, I still wanted to play Imaginators, but I wanted to get it for the Switch. But I wasn't really looking for it when it went on sale when Toys R Us was closing, so I had to get the game for $100 in 2020. I only used the Kingpin, Golden Queen, and Fire Creation Crystal that came with the game, so I didn't really enjoy my first playthrough. I collected hundreds of Skylander figures throughout the years, and I even got some after the games were discontinued, but it seems like now they just take up way too much space and seem a bit unnecessary to keep to just play 6 games out of many games I own. own, which don't require plastic toys to play. I mean, for most games, all you need is the game, the console, and a controller, and you have everything the game has to offer. So why shouldn't I just get rid of these toys? What's the point of collecting all these figures for just 6 games? Why hassle with setting up a portal and swapping out a figure every time I wanted to play with a different one, or when I needed to unlock something specific in the game? Why should I be invested in a franchise that ended due to oversaturation in the market? Why should I keep playing Skylanders 10 years later? Y'all take up too much space, you don't have any purpose outside of 6 games, and some of you smell like mustard. It's over. The garbage man should be coming soon, and I can finally have a normal life. Peace out. Yes sir, time to eat that enchilada I've been saving. Wait, what the? Hey man. I don't know what you want from me, but I can guarantee you, I don't got anything. I'm broke. Kaos! The hell are you doing here?
Foolish apprentice! You've played right into my hands! And here I am, all-powerful, and you are nothing!
Finally! You will meet your unimaginable doom!
So let me get this straight. You kidnapped me. Now you're gonna take over the Earth. Now that's just being petty. How many times did my Skylanders and I whoop your ass? Hold on, let me carry to 2 divided by 4. 1 billion times! What makes you think you can take over Earth? You couldn't even take over Skylands. You're welcome. I'm sorry, but there's no way that some dude that looks like a poorly painted Easter egg is going to take over the Earth. Did Glumshakes approve of this plan? Or is he too busy hanging with your mom?
It's a bad idea to mess with Kaos!
Alright. Probably went a little overboard with the insults. Ugh. So you're bringing your army from Skylands over to Earth? Wait, what is that? That's not from Skylands. No, don't!
Now, cower in fear at...
Oh no! It's the Skylanders! They're here!
Oh, you're screwed now.
All fired up!
Hey!
Come get some!
Stop that! Ha-ha!
Suck it up!
For Skylands!
What the?
That guy owes me $5!
I'm your sling man!
Flare up! Blast off! Ha ha! Feathers of fury!
What do you say we teach Big Head a little lesson? For Skylands!
Let's go home. Skylanders is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. This series is far from perfect, and each of the 6 games have their own flaws, but I had a lot of fun playing each of these games. In fact, I still had fun playing these games when I revisit them as an adult. And what makes these games are definitely the figures and the characters. I mean, yeah, most people aren't going to know who these characters are, but these characters have really great attacks and really unique personalities that make it worth collecting these figures and trying out each character. And sure, that might not be for everybody, and I understand that, but I feel like Skylanders is such a specific experience that a lot of people like, and I feel like that's pretty cool. I feel pretty strongly about where I rank each game. I'm definitely a Vicarious Visions guy when it comes to Skylanders. Yeah, I'm fully aware of their issues, but those games are so gorgeous to look at, with some of the best gameplay and Skylanders rosters. Imaginators get a lot of hate, but honestly, it's not too bad. Granted, you do need a bunch of creation crystals to enjoy the best feature of the game, but if you do have a bunch, there's a lot of good amount of playtime. As buggy as Trap Team was, the traps saved the game from being a complete bust. And even though Spyro's Adventure and Giants are at the bottom of my ranking, I only put them there because the other games had more features to offer and more Skylanders to play as. Both of these games are still worth playing as much as the other Skylander games. I have no idea if Activision will ever bring back the Skylander franchise. It seems like they don't really have much effort to keep supporting Crash and Spyro. It was cool that we got remakes of Crash and Spyro games, and even Crash 4 It's About Time. However, Activision and Toys for Bob are extremely focused on other things at the moment. Crash, Spyro, and the Skylander games have an unclear future to say the least, but the series is still heavily supported by the Skylanders community. People are still playing the games, whether they're revisiting them after some time, or trying to speedrun or complete locks, or 100% complete them, or even trying out new Skylanders that came in the mail. There's a bunch of playthroughs of these games that are still happening now. There's always a live stream of someone playing their original copy of the game, or even using an emulator to get the best gameplay quality possible. And I just love seeing people's Skylander collections. You have so many people that have small collections that are either just starting out or trying to recollect the figures they sold in the past, and big collections from all of the games that consist of light cores, giants, chase variants, traps, creation crystals, and a bunch of Skylander merch. If you want Skylanders content, you can always rely on your favorite Skytubers. These channels that focus on bringing regularly scheduled Skylanders content are dedicated to the games and will dissect every aspect of them. You can count on these channels to give their opinions on their favorite Skylanders, talk about how realistic their designs and attacks are, show us how to do custom paint jobs on our favorite Skylander figures, and talk about why the series is still important today. The community is actually pretty small, where you can reach out to any members and have a discussion about the franchise. There's a lot of great content out there showing no sign of slowing down, and I'm glad we have a great variety of channels that are still celebrating, or perhaps even decided to return to the series. I'm glad I've held on to all of my Skylander figures, even though I don't have a place to properly display them and I have to keep them in this big plastic bin. It keeps the figures safe and dust free. My collection of Skylanders reminds me of how much fun the series was, and that I will always be able to revisit the Skylanders franchise at any time. All I know is I'll be ready for the next Skylanders game, but I don't think my wallet will be. And that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what some of your favorite Skylander experiences are down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Alright, fine, y'all can play us out. Now I'm gonna get those enchiladas. Ha ha!
Big. Locked and loaded. Pressure on the track, you know I'm rolling. Slam bam too, you know I be sliding. Bust shooting at the off chaos, crying.
We got money!
Bumble blast, honey. Jawbreaker came with the gang, it ain't funny. 4900. He keeps coming. I'ma keep erupting and I'll keep thumping. Oh yeah. Show 'em what you got, Spyro.
I'm the best Skylander on this lineup. Venture calls Spyro evolve. Venture calls. Look, I am an OG. You do not know me. You roly-poly. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't exist. Skylanders owe me. You know how I do. Ain't no fool, boy, I'm real cool. Flame balls, hit you in the booth, boy, I'm real smooth.
Locked and loaded. Pressure on the track, you know I'm rolling. Slam bam too, you know I be sliding. Bust shooting at the off chaos, crying.
We got money!
Bumble blast, honey. Jawbreaker came with the gang, it ain't funny. funny. Or 900, he keeps coming. I'ma keep erupting and I'll keep thumping. Oh yeah.